So listen now. Don't do that. Stop. Hi, and welcome to a new casual conversation with me and Klaus. Today we want to look at naming conventions and are they any good, and what should you do, and what should you think about doing naming conventions? And I have some thoughts on that I want to run by you, Klaus.
Okay.
Um, Among other things, when I create a table with orders, for example, I I would like to call it orders because in that bucket of uh, that kind of, I call a table a bucket in this case. There are a bunch of orders, all the rows. But when I use uh, the um, the orders table, then it's actually an order I'm looking at. So in that case, I would rather have called the table order. What is your take on that? Should I use the singular version or the plural?
Yeah. The first naming conventions I encountered was at a time where file names could only be 8 characters uh, and a extension of 3 characters.
Yeah,
And you, there was this, that a lot of people use this convention that the first 2 or 3 characters of a file name designated who the customer or what system is this,
yeah,
so that you could see, okay, this is to belonging to this customer, and then you had maybe 4 or 5 customers actually to tell what it is. Someone even went as far as calling their tables, you know, 4 letters and 4 digits.
yeah.
It was impossible to find out what the hell it was.
I've seen those databases. They are
Yeah.
horrible. Yeah,
And if you're using that kind of naming convention, you are not giving anything away. If a new programmer comes to look at it, do you like to work on obfuscated JavaScript programs?
no,
Is it your preferred
I
way
prefer
of?
the named labels. Yes.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit the same thing. Is that it's a um, it's a trade. It's something like an artisan, that you write your code, which also in this context includes the database, in a way that it's understandable
Yeah. So I'm happy we're
also to
not
yourself.
if we don't have those constraints anymore. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yes, you can use as long a name as you want to, uh,
yeah.
more or less. So that's not a problem.
No.
When I look at a new system, I mean,
Yeah,
I look at a new existing system. I don't I don't dig into the code right away. I look at the database and try to understand that. And when
yeah,
you understand the database and the data model, you know a hell of a lot about the system already.
yeah.
So if the data model doesn't, or the database doesn't give anything away about what it's about, you know, it's really of very little use.
Yeah.
So if it's a table with orders, I would definitely call it orders.
Yeah. Okay.
And for instance, if you're using order numbers, probably all orders have order numbers,
Yeah.
I would say. Being in a system or not being in a system, they would have an order number.
Yeah.
So why don't call the order number instead of ID or whatever you could choose to call it either
Yeah,
order number is good as any.
but you could also argue that it is in the order table, so why not just call it number?
Because it could be any number.
Yeah, number is really a bad word because when you look at it in the code later on,
It's
even
a
though it would say order dot number in many places, uh, just having number as a variable might cause a bit of confusion because you don't know what number it is. Yeah.
so how would you like the code saying number is a number or something like
Yeah,
that?
yeah, that would be funny.
using reverse using the third word
Yeah, that, that that's
column names
that's
in your database.
yeah, that's also dates, for instance, is a good example of this, because often you have an order and you have like a date for the order. So do you call that column or yeah, that column date? Often you do not, right? You call it received or
Yeah,
delivery date or
yeah.
yeah,
You have in the SQL you have this construction where you order by something,
yeah,
but by by is a Danish word for by, which
yeah,
means city.
yeah.
So when you have this table with the postal zip code, and the city, it will normally be zip code and by,
Yeah.
which can create problems for later because in many contexts it's a reserved
Order
word.
bye.
Yeah, order by, yes.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
Oh,
that could be some interesting wording.
yeah.
Yeah. But then I never use Danish or Swedish words in as database columns or names. I try to write English in all variable sense because well, on the one hand, most of the programming language will be written in English anyway, and you never know if you're going to hire a developer who only knows English, then they won't understand what the Swedish words or the Danish words are. So,
You have
I,
to consider one thing, because, as you know, I've been working a lot with Dataflix the past many years,
mhm,
and many of the Dataflix systems that are still actually running
yeah,
started with non-professionals coding it,
yeah,
people with some domain knowledge, but not particularly educated within IT, and they tend to use national words in the column names of the database.
yeah.
So
So
that's where
so
you see it very often.
so listen now. Don't do that. Stop.
And stop using national characters
Yeah,
in your code or in your
definitely.
database
Yes.
anywhere. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. Oh no, but I'm really uh, I'm going deeper with the naming conventions
Mm-hmm.
because when I write code, I not only make sure that I name tables, columns, and variables. I also name documents and use includes from the documents based on the names, so that I could actually write a script that has a variable name or a naming convention, and then depending on what fill in that variable, it will call a specific view based on the name of the view. So I'm also using file names as sort of variables in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that that's not really done in Dataflix in the same level as I do in PHP, but Dataflix
Well,
has some other nice feature with the objects.
at least what Dataflix does is that all the includes, the packages,
Yeah,
are named with the same name as the class that's actually being uh, programmed in that particular package, which
yeah,
makes it easy to find. If you want to look into a package, it's very easy to find it.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that this is all about.
Yeah.
To find your stuff
Never
and to make it transparent.
Yeah. Never put two classes in the same file. Use the file name
Very good
as
point.
the class name. Yeah.
General purpose class files.
Yeah.
And then you have a whole lot of stuff in it.
I do have some instances where I actually have put a class inside the same file as another class, but then it's a helper class only used by that class and no other class. So
yeah.
Otherwise,
I think we can forgive you on that one.
Yeah. Thank you. Yes.
Yeah.
No, but
okay.
Otherwise, I would ask our viewers to write in the comments below if you have any thoughts on naming conventions and how to think about naming tables and variables and classes and stuff like that. So, would love to hear what you have to say about it down in the comments below. So, yeah, I think otherwise. This conversation is at its end.
All right.
Or do you have anything else to add?
Probably, but I can't think of anything now.
No. So let's continue at a later point.
Yes, let's do that. Okay.
Great.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.